endured depositions. We went to Reno and got groomed by the plaintiffs relative to this case. So I'll tell you a true story. There was a point where we took a break. It was a beautiful day in Reno. And the deposition that I was at was in McDonald Carano's beautiful law office. And I looked out the window and I said to Mr. Franklin, "John, this is a beautiful view out here." I said, "How high are we up?" And then I said, "Well, we're on the 10th floor. So we must be 100 feet high." Mr. Frankovich looked at me in the eye and grinned and said, "Yes, the dump in Jungo will be twice that high." That's the community advocacy of recology and their counsel. Commissioner, that's what we can expect. You smile at me then, that's what I saw. And
I got a story to tell you.
I'm going to continue. No, if we go to court, we can't guarantee that we're going to win. But for me, in my life, I've been in a lot of fights. And I haven't won them all. But by God, I never back down from one. And I don't think the people in this room would either. And Dan, for your comment about whether or not you said if the people don't want it, we should oppose it, I suggest you read the minutes.
I get the minutes, and now they also have me on deposition with that answer there.
Okay.
And we can get it from them too.
And
Now, can I
one
tell
thing-
my story when you're done?
Yes, I'm not done. We don't accept sludge at our landfill. We didn't the last time I did. It goes to a special place. And ladies and gentlemen, it's our sludge.
And ours doesn't stink.
They brought some things to mind, and one of the things in our proposed settlement was there's 5 years on the table of inspection. That's in the first 5 years. And I would agree that somebody, I don't know who made the comment, like a new car, nothing breaks down in the first 5 years. And so, in that respect, when you start looking at that, okay, so maybe we need to look a little tighter at this negotiation if that's what we're going to do. But more than that, it seems to me too, the comment that the judge made when we were in session there was probably one of the first things that she said. She says, this is going to cost. You need to look at the cost of this thing. I don't disagree with your environmental concerns. I don't disagree with anything anybody has said. But there's risks. And there's not one person in here today that told me that this was a guarantee, because that's what I was looking for here, is this guarantee today. That was going to come forward, and we're going to be guaranteed that we're going to win this lawsuit. And I think that's what I'm looking for, but I'm not getting that. So the one thing that we have looked at that I think might be prudent here, and it's like when you go to the doctor, am I going to make it? What am I going to do? And most people at that point in time say, well, go get a second opinion. So, and I don't think that it would be totally unreasonable. I don't maybe necessarily want to take this off the table. I think that there's there's some room to negotiate to settle this thing. However, it might be prudent on our part to let people know what the score is. A third-party independent review might be in order here. And that would be somebody that's not on this side, or that side, or anybody's side. Somebody that would say, that is and I don't know who this somebody is, would be maybe a recommendation from the judge here or whoever, and say, take a look at this thing, and now analyze this thing, because that's what we're going to get from a judge. We're going to get analysis, and irregardless of all of your concerns and all of what you're talking about, they're going to look at the points of law in this case. And so, if we had a third-party independent review, and maybe look at maybe amending some of this 5-year plan, maybe that's not good enough. Maybe we want a lifetime of inspections. Maybe we want some other concessions.
We don't want it.
That's what we elected you to do.
No, listen, I'm not
You
done.
guys are gonna start in, we'll shut it off right now.
Listen,
Show respect, he has the floor.
listen, because here's the thing. We can, and I'm telling you, this thing can go to the map, and we can still have a landfill. So at some point in time, you need to start thinking about that.
It's not your money, it's ours, we want it, why? Hey, come on.
That what I'm proposing is that we get a third party, independent, totally neutral, to take a look at this thing and tell us what our chances are. Because I guarantee you, if you had somebody that came in here, a third party representative, and they said, you know what, your chances of winning this thing are 50% or 40% or 30%, it's going to change people's view on it. And now you might want to take a look at the negotiations part of this thing. And your concerns today, primarily, were environmental. That's what I heard. It's all about the environment and that. And irregardless if you want the dump or not, that's irrelevant. What the relevancy is absolutely the environment, and whether that aquifer goes anywhere or doesn't go anywhere is not the point. We shouldn't put a drop of that in there. Not a drop of poison should go in that water. And so, do we have enough leak detection in place? Do we have enough? That's what we need to scrutinize. And so, one of the things that I would propose, because, that was, when we went to negotiations, Commissioner Giordano was correct, is we didn't sit there and negotiate that part of it. And so, nothing against our lawyers, Balkenbush, and, I don't talk to them. So nothing against that, but a third-party independent review to know, so you know the score is. What is it? Is it 30-20? Is it 50-50? Is it 70-30? What is it?
No one's going to be able to give you that. So, just to point that out to you, you're talking about what, another lawyer or something?
Well, can we get an analysis and a...
It's impossible. You can't get legal advice like that. It's impossible.
And I'll defer to Steve on it as well. There isn't anybody who can give you that kind of answer. Like an independent type consultant, that kind of person doesn't exist.
We, as a commission as a whole, turned down the CUP based on what we thought was very good facts and opinions of our own. That was done all separately, not like some might say that we worked together. It was each individual opinion that came in that day and turned down the CUP. Extension. We based it on what we thought was solid facts on them not moving forward on the unit. And that's what this whole thing is about, is the stopping of the CUP. All this other information might go towards public feeling and all that stuff, but it still comes down to that. This whole thing is around us turning down that CUP. And I believe I turned it down with solid facts. And I think I could stand behind everything I did. Okay, that's all I have to say.
Well, I concur with you, Mr. Chairman, and just because if we did decide to take this as a settlement. They still have a tremendous amount of work to continue. They have to get their permits in order. If there is things that are wrong, they will not be allowed to continue. I've heard so many stories about how horrible the NDAP is. I guess it's the only thing we have to protect us, though, so I don't know of anything else to help protect our environment here for the state of Nevada. And ecology might hold us hostage, but I think a lot of these citizens here have held us hostage also. We're just kind of a piece of bologna between two pieces of bread, I guess. I really have heard the same story in the last 3 or 4 years, and most of it is based on emotions. And I'm the one, I kind of like to base my opinion on qualified people and qualified, knowledgeable people, and people who have dealt with these situations. So there's where I kind of stand.
I'm gonna need some help. I'm legal counsel there. Unless I'm mistaken, if this proceeds to court, the issue in front of the judge will be, did Jungle meet its obligation to be operational for 3 years? They did not. That's the question before a judge. I'm going to defer to an attorney.
Well, it's not as simple as that, really, and I really don't want to go into an extensive legal analysis here in the context of this meeting. That's more of a litigation that I need time. We're not trying to avoid what you're indicating. I believe that what you're saying is that there were, at least in your view, at the time, April 5th, when that vote took place, very similar to what Chuck just said, you felt that there were sound reasons to support your vote.
Unanimous.
Understand?
Not only one.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah, and with respect to that, Tom, there are, as David said, there's a myriad of issues. That's not the only issue. There's a whole host of issues they've been briefed already. They're a matter of public record. The issues that have been raised, they've been briefed. They're in the court's record. So, and all those issues are pretty well laid out there. So it's more than one issue. There's a myriad of issues.